Hello, welcome back to my show. It's called Kristincooks, and I'm Kristen. And today it's cookie time. So if you'd like to see what these two types of cookies are, then just keep watching. All right, so we are starting off with a really good peanut butter cookie recipe. I've got 3/4 of a cup of creamy peanut butter going into this big bowl. And, and then I skipped over to the dry part. So, it's 1.5 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then I'll whisk the dry together and just set it aside until I'm ready to add it into the wet ingredients. Okay, now going back to the big bowl with the peanut butter in it, 1 stick of room temperature butter. I accidentally melted it, but just have it at room temperature. And then I'm putting in 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. And then after the brown sugar, I have 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. Then I'll stick my hand beater in there and cream the butter and the sugar together in the peanut butter. Just like so. Okay, and then to this creamy mixture, I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Plus 2 eggs 1 egg is it. That's it. So here it is, 1 egg, and then mix that, incorporate these two into the creamy mixture. Okay. Just mix that in until you can't see the egg anymore, trying not to over mix. And then we can add in the dry ingredients. And I'm going to just use a spoon to mix the dry into the wet because I don't want to overmix. And that will happen if I use a hand mixer. So I'm just doing this by hand. It doesn't take very long. It's really easy. Yeah. Okay. And then I take a cookie scoop. Okay, listen. I made these way too big, okay? I should have used a smaller cookie scoop and made these half the size, and they were still awesome though. I mean, they turned out so well because with the sugar on the outside like this, it just makes them, you get like a little bit of a crunch. It's just a contrast in textures that makes them so good. So I only got about 12 cookies, and you're supposed to get about 24 cookies out of this recipe. But next time I make these, I'm gonna, of course, do them half the size. But they still turned out awesome. Everybody loves them. Like, they're so good. And then you make a little cross hatch pattern with a fork on the top. And then they'll bake in a 350-degree oven for... like 9 minutes, 8 to 9 minutes, if they were a smaller size, because mine are twice as big. I had to cook them longer, of course, but they turned out awesome. They're so good. This is such a great recipe. I'll link it below. Okay, and then moving on into the oatmeal chocolate chip, I'm gonna start with the dry ingredients. 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a very healthy teaspoon of ground cinnamon. I put in extra because I love cinnamon. Mix those together and then set that bowl aside. Okay, and then in a large bowl we have a cup of unsalted, slightly softened butter. Okay. It says it should be somewhat cold and firm. So that's what we have here. Okay, and then 1 cup of brown sugar, half a cup of granulated sugar. Wherever it is, yes, there it is. Okay, and then I'll cream these 3 things together until it's kind of creamy and light, and maybe a little fluffy, we'll say. But again, just doing it by hand. Okay, and then this recipe is the one that has 2 eggs. So I'll drop the first one in, mix it in till I don't see it anymore, and then I'll add in the second one, along with 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Should be right here, yes. Very good. Okay. And there goes the second egg. Mix those 2 in. Just mix it in just till you don't see the egg anymore. That's as far as you need to go with that. Okay, and then I'm going to add in the flour mix. I put in just a little bit to start with, just so I'm not overworking the dough. And then add in the last of it. Okay, and here comes 3 cups of rolled old-fashioned oats. And then if you want to, you can add in raisins or chopped walnuts. And this time I'm gonna do chocolate chips. I did raisins last time, I think, so. This time I'm just adding in a whole package of chocolate chips, milk chocolate chips. Is about 2 cups. Then we mix those in. And then the oven should be preheated to 350. And then, oh, first of all, sorry. I put it in the fridge to chill for a few hours just so they didn't spread too much when they baked. And then I lightly greased this large cookie sheet here. Or you could use parchment paper or a baking mat if you want, but I don't have a silicone mat, so I just use this. And then I baked them for about 12 minutes, I believe. Maybe it was 13, but yeah, 12 to 14 minutes. Okay, and then tasting them. Oh, they were so good. This was yesterday. My husband was in the mood for these oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, and it sounded pretty good to me too, so I said, let's do it. And the peanut butter was perfect. I mean, they're both really good, but if we had to pick one, we would definitely want the peanut butter cookies again. Very big, but so creamy, sugary. It's just beautiful. You should try them. I'll link these recipes in the description box below. And if you're in the mood for cookies, give these a try. So I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.